Hello everyone. So today we will discuss topic 3. As you can see, the title of topic 3 is relevant cost and revenue for decision making. Keep in mind, this topic will be part of your exam, and calculation-based questions and minor discussion questions will be out from this topic. This topic 3 is in chapter 9 in your recommended textbook, which is 9th edition. Alright, so chapter 9 for 9th edition textbook. The textbook which I sent you last week, the same textbook. Alright, so let's start with the relevant cost, revenue for decision making. Now, when we make our decisions, all right? You already studied the previous topic, that's how we make a decision by choosing the different steps. And at the end of the steps, we make a decision whether we should do this or that. So here is, we got a discussion that when we make a decision, we make a decision in a situation where we have alternatives available. So which means we have multiple options. So if we have multiple options, then of course we require to make decisions. Alright? So it's based upon the availability of alternatives. Alright? So when we have different kinds of options available, so this is the situation when we're going to make our decisions. Alright? And another important thing in decision making is we make decisions. When we make a decision, or in decision making, the most important thing is relevant. Alright? If any kinds of information is relevant, we use it to make a decision. So which means in decision making system or in the process, we focus more on the relevant informations. Alright? Now we move on to the next, which is the principle of relevant informations. Right? Or when we're going to make a decisions, we have to focus on the 3 different principles. Right? So in this principles, so we have 3 principles. First principle is only future cost is relevant, which means past cost is irrelevant. Because whatever decision we're going to make it, that's the decision making, of course, is about the future. What we're going to spend and how we're going to spend, or we should spend or we should not spend. Alright? So that's why future cost is relevant compared to the past cost. Right? Alright? The second principle is only those costs which are different among alternatives are relevant. Right? Any kinds of cost which is different among options. What does it mean? It means, for example, let's say we have 5 options, and the cost of 5 options is different. When the cost of these 5 options are different, that information is relevant. Why? Because we have to think. We should choose this option, this, or this. Alright? If the cost among 5 options are unchanged, means are same, that means that information is irrelevant, which means we don't have to think that which option we should select. Why? Because all options have the same cost. That's why if the cost among all options is different, then we have to think we should choose this option or this option. Alright? That's the meaning of the second principle. Third principle is non-cash cost is irrelevant. Which means any kinds of cost which is paid in non-cash, or non-cash expense, non-cash cost, like as the best example is a depreciation. So which means depreciation is irrelevant. We don't have to consider, or we don't have to think about cost of depreciation when we go to depreciation. Why? Because it's irrelevant as per the principles. Right? So these are the basically 3 principles we have to keep in our minds when we're gonna make our decisions, or when we're gonna calculate something. Right? I'll show you what. Next is identifies a relevant cost. How we identify relevant cost. Alright? So, first is avoidable cost is a relevant cost. Right? Avoidable cost is a relevant cost. So, and second one is a unavoidable cost is irrelevant cost. Right? Avoidable cost is a relevant cost, and unavoidable cost is the irrelevant cost. Right? So now, what are the examples of avoidable cost? Now, the meaning of avoidable is any kinds of cost that we can change, we can avoid, we can reduce, we can control. Right? Unavoidable means cost which is not controllable, cost that you cannot change. When you change the decision to choose another option, no matter you choose this option or that option, your cost remain unchanged. That's the meaning of unavoidable cost. Now, what are the examples of avoidable cost? Avoidable cost include variable cost. You study in your BTech HMD what is the meaning of variable cost. Variable cost is the cost that changes as per the level of activities change. We call it variable cost. So what does it mean? If your options change, your variable cost is more likely to be changed. If you're going to produce this kind of product, we have a certain kind of raw material. If you're going to choose another kind of product, we may need another type of material or another type of quantity. So it means when we are selecting the options to produce this product or that product, our cost of material will be different, right? So you know that material, variable costs include that material, that labor, and some other kinds of direct expense. Another one is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost, also known as avoidable cost. For you already studied in economics or some other BTech program, is that opportunity cost is any kind of cost that may be different as per the opportunity, all right? Or any kinds of costs arise by losing the particular opportunity. Different opportunities going to have different kinds of costs, of course, right? Next is unavoidable cost. Unavoidable cost is any kind of cost that we cannot change it, such as fixed cost. The example is depreciation. Right? Or depreciation also example for cash. Right? No cash, depreciation. Another example for unavoidable cost is sunk cost. Since sunk cost irrecoverable cost that cannot be recovered, it's already sunk. Right? So that you know that it's like opposite to the opportunity cost is the sunk cost, same like an opportunity. Same like a fixed cost is opposite to the variable cost. All right. So these are the identifications of relevant cost. Now we move on to the next point, which is informations, relevant information. So there are two kinds of relevant informations we have. First one is a quantitative. And second one is a qualitative. All right? Quantitative information is the informations that is available in numerical terms, in numbers. This is called quantitative information. Right? The information which is available in numerical terms. The information which is available in numerical terms, that's called the quantitative information. You know that in organizations, whatever decisions we're gonna make it, we do not make decision only based upon the quantitative information, which means we cannot simply make decisions by looking at the numbers. All right? Besides that numerical informations, we needed some other kinds of informations that may not describe in terms of numbers, but that information is really important for organizations at the time of decision making. So, which means any kind of information which is not available in form of number, that's called the qualitative information. Or qualitative information is that information that available in non-numerical terms. All right? So the example of qualitative information is, let's say, workers' satisfaction. Worker satisfaction, it's a satisfaction level. That satisfaction level or behavior of the workers, we cannot simply measure in form of numbers. But we need that information in order to understand that why company production activities increase or decrease over the period. All right? Employees' activity, the performance or the efficiency is not always changed as per the availabilities of raw material, like as we studied before in the variance, material usage variance or labor efficiency variance, right? So the worker performance is not always and only affected by the availabilities of the raw material, maybe because of the behavior of the worker. And if you want to, whatever information that you get it about the worker behavior, happy, unhappy, motivated, demotivated, that kind of information is an example of qualitative information, right? So which means we need both kind of informations in order to make decisions. So combination of this quantitative and qualitative information is called relevant information. All right. So remember, in your final exams, you're gonna have some calculations that I'm going to talk about the next, and besides that calculation, you're gonna have a small discussion part. That discussion part is more about qualitative information. Why? Because calculations will give you quantitative information. All right. So by looking at that quantitative information, we will be able to make a decision. But that not only 100% that quantitative, we need some other theoretical arguments. We can make it by looking at the numbers. All right. So that theoretical arguments is that discussion base is a small part of your question. All right. So now we move on to the calculations. That calculation will help us to make decisions. And after we finish calculation, at the end of the lecture, if you have time, then I will give example of qualitative information, or else I'll give example in the next video. Right. So let's start with the different decision making. So which means what kind of decisions that organization need to make it, right, by using relevant information. All right. Types of decisions that company need to make it by using the relevant information, right? So the first decision that we have to make it in an organization need to make it is a one-time special order. Now, what does it mean, one-time special order? One-time special order means that organization should produce a product which demand is just temporary, or just demand is a very short term. Let's, for example, my company is about making a pen, right? That's my normal product, right? That's my regular product that company make it and sell it, right? So, for example, once a time, there is a one customer comes to my company, and that customer put his own requirements, special requirements, which means that customer wants to make a pen with pencil, pen and pencil, 2-in-1 in this single product. And that's 2-in-1 system in this product is not my regular product. All right? So this is kind of my special product, that customer, special product that customer want from my side. So before I accept making this product, I have to make a decision whether I should accept to produce or I should reject that customer order. And of course, decision rule will be based upon the profitability of this product. Right? If this new product or special order product is profitable for me to produce, I will produce it. If it is not, I will not produce it. Right? So I give you a quick example, then later we will discuss more about it. Then I am going to make a decision whether I should produce this, make this a special order product or not. I'm going to look at various things, such as my material cost. My material cost will be changed compared to pen and pencil. All right? It may be changed or may not be changed, but more likely to be changed. Why? Because I have raw material only for pen, which is plastic, ink, refill, and so on. All right? But the pencil is a different requirements. I need a wood, I need a granite, or some other things that pencil we need to make. Right? So some kinds of cost I may save, such as machine. I need the same kinds of machine which can produce pen and pencil both, or maybe different. So the idea is that I'm going to categorize some other kinds of cost that may be changed when I make a one-time special order, or cost may not change when I make special order. So cost minus revenue, whatever amount we have, I will see is it profitable or not. Or I should produce or I should not produce. So that kind of decision we're going to make it when we are in our organization. So first decision called one-time special order. Next is a decision with constraint resources. All right. I will come to this second decision making later on. All right. So let me explain you about number 3. third decision is decision on the replacement of equipment. So let's say we have old equipment, and now we are trying to replace it with the new equipment. Should we replace it or we should keep it? Of course, we're going to estimate the written down value of that old, and then we can check whether we can replace with the new material, new machine or not. So we will compare. We subtract the replacement value from the new machines, and of course depreciation on new machine and so on. And then later on we will come to the conclusion whether we should replace it with the new machine, or we should not replace this old machine with the new machines. Right? Of course, again the decision will be based upon the total cost, old and new. All right. Number 4 is outsourcing. Outsourcing decisions, or make or buy decision. Make means, should we, for example, my product is this pen, all right? So the raw material to make this product is a plastic, all right? So I have two options. Option 1, I produce plastic in my factory, and then I'll use that plastic to make the product. And second option is I buy this plastic from supplier. All right? I buy my raw material, or I make raw material. When you buy raw material, this is called outsourcing. When you make raw material, this is called insourcing. So insourcing versus outsourcing. We need a special kind of service. So whether we should take service from outsiders, right? Or we should find resources to generate that resources in our factory. This is called insourcing, right? So that's kind of decisions called outsourcing decision. Which one is a profitable? It depends. Which one is a cheaper? That will be more profitable, right? Because low cost, high profit. So if making raw material is a more profitable compared to buying raw material, we choose this option. Or buying raw material is cheaper compared to making, we will choose this decision. All right. So that's called make or buy decision. Next one is discontinue operations or segment. Now, what does it mean? For example, I have two factories. One factory in Ho Chi Minh City and another factory is in Hanoi. So, but unfortunately, my Hanoi factory or unit is not in a profit. All right. So now the question is, should I discontinue, which means should I shut down my Hanoi branch, or I should continue with that Hanoi branch? All right. Which option is better? Of course, if you ignore relevant information, then you'll say that of course Hanoi branch is in the loss, so we should shut down. All right. But of course, is not the right decision by looking at the final number and say that oh, Hanoi is in the loss, so we should stop it. We should stop our Hanoi branch. No, but the reality is, before making a decision, we need to understand that, let's say, Hanoi has a sales, cost, and they have loss. All right? We need to understand if this is continued and we having a loss. If you will discontinue, all right, then your sales will be 0. All right, and some kinds of cost, which is relevant cost, it will be avoidable. but some kinds of irrelevant costs that remain exist. Alright? So we have some kinds of irrelevant cost here. So as a result, maybe if I close down, my loss could be increased. Why? Because there are some kinds of costs still exist, no matter I close or I continue. Alright? So that's why we have to make a decision that whether any units which in the loss we should not discontinue. Alright, so that's why we have seen some examples where company one branch is in the loss, still company continue with that branch. Why? Because if company will close down that branch, overall company profitability will be reduced in order to overcome that the loss, because we close down, loss increase, as a result overall profitability reduced. So in order to avoid reduction in a company profit, company do not close down the business if the business is in the loss. It's not the always case. Again, it's not the always case that company has a loss and company do not close down. It depends that whether we should close down. If we close down, we can save cost, or we continue, we can save cost. Right, so it depends. So that's, we have a 5 different kind of decision. Okay. Now we come to the main thing. Product mix decision with constraint resources. Keep in your mind, in your final exam, among these 5 decisions, examiner will ask you only about this decision, which means you're not going to have any question from these 4 kinds of decisions. Only questions for product mix decision with constraint resources. That is your part of the exam with discussion. But discussion based gonna be minor. Alright? So that will be part of your exam. So you don't have to learn other 4 calculations in more depth. Alright, but I already gave you ideas in order to understand the complete picture that what kind of decisions company need to make it. Now I will speak only about product mix decision with constraint resources. I will explain you what is that. Then I'll show you the calculations, how we're gonna make the decisions. Then I will give you some example which is about the qualitative information, and then we will stop. And next live session, we will make. I will give you some more questions to practice, and in that live session, we will sort out that kind of questions, problems. All right. So let's start with the product mix decision with constraint resources. Now, what does it mean? Product mix. First of all, product mix. Product mix means when company produce different kinds of product, not all the product in the same nature. For example, Apple company, which produce iPhone, all right, which produce Apple TV, which produce iWatch, which produce iPods, so on. So this is an example of the product mix when company produce different kinds of products, and these products are not same in nature. All right, that's called the product mix. Now, product mix decision with constraint resources. Now, what does it mean, constraint resources? Constraint resources means limiting factors. Limiting factor is that kind of factor that limits your resources. We call them limited factors, or you can say that you can call it constraint resources. Constraint means very limited or scarce resources. All right. So when we have limited options, then which product we should produce first and which product we should produce second. For example, I give example of iPhone and iWatch. Company has two kinds of product, iPhone and iWatch. No matter iPhone or iWatch, company can produce maximum 100 products. Why? Because company has a limited plastic, limited raw material. So raw material is your constraint resources or limiting factor. All right. So which means we have a limited raw material available, which means we cannot meet the demand of these two products. Let's say the demand of iPhone is 80 products. Customer demand 80 products. And iWatch, let's say customer demand 40 products. Alright, so total we can produce 120 products. But because of limiting factors, maximum we can produce 100 products. So now the question is, which product we should produce first? We should produce 80 products and 20, so 100, or 40 and 60, 100. We should do that? I mean, which one we should do it and do it first? So keep in your mind. Decision rule. How are we gonna make a decision in a situation when we have a product mix with the constraint resources, multiple products with the limited resources? How are we gonna make a decision? Decision will be based upon contribution margin for limiting factors. Contribution margin means sales minus variable cost is a contribution margin. Alright? On the basis of contribution margin, we will see which product is a more profitable. Whatever product is a more profitable for the company will make decision to produce that product first. So let's say iPhone is a more profitable for company compared to iWatch. So company will produce 80 products, right? So means whatever plastics we have available, we use that plastic to make 80 products, all right? And then whatever plastic is left, we use that plastic to produce rest of the product. And of course, we can make, let's say, another 20 products. So for example, the quantity of using raw material is the same. One iPhone quantity equals to one watch. So 80, we will produce 80 products using the plastics. And then whatever plastic is left, we use that plastic to make 40 products. I mean, to make whatever products. So let's say 20. So 80 plus 20, 100. So this is the idea. So by looking at the contribution margin, we're going to make a decision that which product is the more profitable for the organization. But keep in mind, contribution margin per limiting factor. All right? Because that limiting factor, we have to be more economically to use that resources, because we all, is in the limited quantity. All right. So we will see. We have a limited quantity. So limited quantity per units, contribution margin, limited quantity per unit for another product, contribution margin, and we will see which product is a more profitable. So whatever product has the highest contribution margin per limiting factor, we will, per limited resources, we will choose that product to produce. Alright? So now I will give you an example. Alright? I'm going to show you example, and then there are two kind of example I'm going to show you. One is unlimited demands, and this is a limited demand. So means we can produce as much as we can. And second one is example like this iPhone and iWatch, right? Which product we should, but we have limited raw material available. All right. Okay. So here I'm going to show you the example. So here's an example of unlimited demand. Okay, so I read this question for you first, and then I will show you how we can solve this question. So the question is, ABC Desk Company makes two types of office desks. So it has two types of product, executive desks and standing desk. Both desks require time in painting department, but there are only 172 hours per month available currently in that department. So which means 172 hours are the limiting factors. So the company can sell as many of each desk as it can make. So there's no any requirements for selling the quantity of that particular product, not the particular demand. 10 or 20 or 200 depends. So what is the optimal product mix that would maximize profit for each month? So which option is the more profitable for us to make a decision whether we should produce executive first or standing first or only executive, sorry, or only standing, right? So here is some other information. Selling price per unit is 150, 200. Variable cost 70, 110. So contribution margin per unit sales minus variable cost, the contribution margin. So 80 and 90. So contribution margin for standing desk is higher than the executive desk. But it doesn't mean that we will simply make a decision by looking at contribution margin. No, as I mentioned that we're gonna make a decision by looking at contribution margin per limiting factors. So limiting factors are 172 hours per month. So keep in your mind that if we will produce executive products, it takes 15 minutes to make one product. Alright? If we make standing product, it takes 20 minutes to make standing product, standing desk. So the idea is, if you take 1 hour, in 1 hour we can make 4 executive products and 3 executive products. So we can make 4 executive products in 1 hour and 3 standing products in 1 hour. And the contribution margin per product is 80 and 90. So what does it mean? Contribution margin for executive is 320 and contribution margin for standing is 270. Actually it's a 270, not 279. It's 270. So which means we should produce executive product first. Alright? So that's the decision we have to make it by looking at the contribution margin using limiting factor. Alright? Next example is about same information, same numbers, but that was about unlimited demands. So now here is limited demands. Alright? So we read, keep in mind, this information is the same. Alright? So we look at this one. So it says that ABC company makes again two types of product, executive and standing. Both require time, departments, and so 172 hours per month available, like is the previous one. Now here is additional information from here. The company can only sell 500 of each desk per month. All right. So maximum 500. So here is a limited demand. Demand is unlimited. All right. Not unlimited. What is the optimal product mix that would maximize profit each month? All right. So as we can produce 500 products for 172 hours, so what does it mean? So which means you know that in this question we know that executive product is a profitable compared to the standing product. So which means we will produce executive product. But we have to check whether how many hours required to make executive product. So total products are 500 divided by 4, because in 1 hour you can make 4 executive products. 500 divided by 4, 125. So which means if you want to make 500 desks, we need 125 hours. So which means some hours we can save it, which is 172. So 172 minus 129, 49 hours. So what does it mean? It means we will use 125 hours to make executive product, and the rest of hours we make standing product. Exactly same example I gave you before about iPhone and iWatch. So we produce executive product first. Alright, 500 executive products. So I repeat, 500 divided by 4, because in 1 hour we can make 4 products. So which means in order to produce 500 products, we require 125. So means if you will make executive product, we need 125 hours, right? So total hours limiting factor is 172. So 172 minus 125, 47 hours left. So we use these 47 hours to make standing product. Alright? So if you use 47 hours to make standing product, so which means 1 hour we can make it 3. So total 141. So which means in this question we can make 641 desk if it's profitable for the company. If it's not, then we won't make it. Alright? So that's the ideas behind the product mix decision using constraint resources. That will be part of your exam. Alright? So unfortunately now I'm running out of time. So we stop this video here, and in the next session, as I said in the live session, I'll give you some more example about qualitative information for this kind of decision making, and I will also give you some more previous seminars questions that I received from Sunderland, And that seminar question I will share with you, and we will solve those kinds of questions in our session. But of course, I said you before, so at home you can practice, and whatever problems you're going to have, so in our live session we will solve those problems. Right? So if you have any question regarding this topic, so you feel free to send me email. All right. So that's all. We stop here. Thank you.